England's Great Britain, whatever you want to call it. So as you guys know, I've been here for a few days and I bought myself a Defender. Yep, a Land Rover Defender. And in the last video, we took it off-roading and it was probably the most fun I've had in a really long time. So if you didn't watch the video, go watch it. Today's Sunday, all the boys have eaten and they're all hanging out, but this is kind of my last opportunity to film before we kind of do some traveling. So I figured I'd do a couple side quests today, make the most of my time. So we're gonna start off by going and visiting a friend of mine, Martin Richards, who happens to be probably one of the best drifters in the UK. And on top of that, he happens to have a pretty freaking cool shop. So we're gonna start there, check out what he's got going on, see some cool things, and well, enjoy the time we got. So for now, let the day begin. Now this car might look familiar to some of you guys because this car is always at the LZ World Tour Ireland. It's pretty cool, a Drift R32. You don't see that very often, but it makes you want one, doesn't it? This car is so sick. A shop is a shop, I know we've all seen it, but it's always cool to visit shops in other countries and you know, you get a different sense of styling and how things are done everywhere else, and the vibes are always changing, and it's just a cool insight of how some people do some things. So Martin Richards, phenomenal drifting. He did Drift Masters for many years. He's been in the competitive drift scene in Europe for a very long time, and he is an incredible driver. This is his little shop, his day-to-day, and this is what he does to fund what he loves doing, drifting. And Martin, this is your shop.
Hello, welcome. Yeah.
This is your day by day.
This is my living really that enables me to do a bit of drifting now and again.
So this is it. So I see you have a bunch of, I guess we have a Tesla, a Supra, I think a Ford Escort. Is that what that is?
We're very diverse. Do anything weird and wonderful. Generally around the performance tuning market and drifting. And
so I'm assuming you got the drifting, learned how to build cars to support your habit, and then you use those skills to tailor the business and tailor your...
Yeah, I was a main dealer techie for many years.
So you were just a wrench?
Yeah,
and then...
my dad actually owned a garage when I was young, so I've grown up around cars all my life.
So do you think you were a wrench that got into drifting because of it, or got into drifting then became a wrench kind of thing?
Oh, definitely a wrench before drifting.
Okay.
Yeah, I was always into wanting to go faster, even driving the tractor mower around.
Yeah.
Thing. I was always driving it far too fast. And
that's always funny to see because I've met so many people who have become talented like fabricators and wrenchers because they got into drifting and kind of forced themselves into like learning that skill. But
yeah, and I was calling myself a tech, you know. I was working on standard cars, spinning filters and changing arms and things like that. It was only really when I got into drifting and started breaking lots of stuff, you learn how to take a gearbox apart rather than just replace it, and starting to learn a little bit of fabrication, and
then you end up with something like this where
builds,
you have a chemically dipped chassis with everything fabricated.
Yeah.
So this is cool. So this is a GRD6 with the 2nd gen FRS.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy, like you already have one kind of in a pro car stance here. This is becoming the new pro car, isn't it?
Not my pro car, it's customer's car. But yeah, a young lad we look after wants to go all the way, potentially to Drift Masters.
Do you think, like, I'm in this weird bit because I don't have like a drift one. I can't tell if they're becoming popular because of the styling or because they actually perform well.
I think it's It's a newer chassis.
Yeah.
If people are wanting to get into high-level drifting, they need to be in a newer chassis.
Yeah, they don't want to
attract sponsors
with a 1990
exactly,
S13.
Yeah. What big company's going to put their name on an old car? You know?
True, it's kind of funny because you go to FD, right? Connor's or Rome's E36, whatever, some car. It looks so freaking old and grid now, and I'm like, it's still a new car.
they still look good.
They still look good, but
an E36 is just a timeless car, you know.
For sure. I'm just excited to see how these chassis unfold because I'm still not. I mean, obviously Connor and Jack have proven that they work, but I'm still not.
And they still say they're very hard to drive.
We're talking about cars that might potentially be hard at drifting, and I mean, your competition car that you've had for many, many years is something that doesn't usually seem to be the best for drifting, and that is, well, an R32. I love this car. Like, styling wise, this one always sticks out to me in grid. You know, maybe because it's something you don't see drifting very often, but you have it styled really freaking cool. I mean, you have it on the Meisters and everything like that. The JZ and RB car, which I love you for doing that.
Driftworks have been running this car since 2004. So like, we think it's like the oldest competing drift car at the highest level kind of thing.
Yeah, that still goes.
That's still going.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, if there's any drift, what's the oldest used drift car in Drift Masters at this point?
Yeah,
it might be Dwayne McKeever's S13.
I think it is, but he's reshelled that actually.
So cool, like from the carbon Venton trunk here, like just the styling alone, like you're a gangster for drifting on the Meister still. I appreciate you that, because I don't think there's anyone in Drift Masters drifting on 3-piece wheels.
I don't think there is, no. Driftworks sell these wheels. It's kind of was their flagship car for they've always been about looking cool. A drift car should be low, have good.
Yeah, and I appreciate you making that happen, because it's too easy to not do that.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to worry about other than that.
Exactly, and performance and trying to get the performance game, but
performance.
we've always made this work at a correct ride height. So
I mean, talk about performance. You still have R chassis steering, which if you guys don't know R chassis, they have this crazy upright right here, which does not make things easy.
No.
You're just playing drifting on expert mode.
Yeah, it was McPherson strut at one point when they were developing it for
like the S chassis conversion.
But yeah, for their Geomaster hubs, but then the rules changed and you had to keep all the standard pickup points and things like that. So yeah,
that you were doing. I think it was your fault. I think you were doing too good in the series, and they're like, let's make it harder for them.
Yeah.
So this is a 1.5 JZ.
Yep.
Yep. And Quaife box.
Yeah.
Winter's quick change.
Winter's quick change.
So just like very, very European package. I feel like.
This is a new engine we put in a few weeks ago, and it's just about 730 to the wheels.
Yeah. And do you think that's enough to be competitive in Drift Masters these days?
I think maybe 100 horsepower more if you're going to run a 285 Velino in.
Yeah,
Drift
285
Masters.
Velino is.
If ever I was to go back to Drift Masters, we'd put a bigger turbo on it, and I think it would do it. Yeah.
And then this, of course, is a Borg-Warner EFR, probably the best turbos ever produced.
They're so reliable.
Yeah, they're so good. It's just a solid, simple setup. I love it.
When Driftworks put this together, they were buying 1Js for like £300-400.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's
wait,
how much.
What's the date on that? 300-400 pounds.
2000. I reckon you could still buy them in 2010 at that.
2010 for that money.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I got into drifting. Wait, I was too busy being in middle school. I should have gotten to drifting. Like,
and what were they, like $1,500-1,600 when you started looking at them?
Yeah, my first 1J I bought for $1,450, and I was like, wow, this is so much money.
VVTI or non-VVTI?
VVTI.
Yeah.
That was VVTI. And then now it's like, I think the last one I bought was $4,400, and I hated myself for it. I couldn't sleep that night. I wish I was like this mechanically inclined into it when things were that cheap. Yeah. I would have been a menace, I feel like.
Yeah. The driver of this car before, he's a bit of a legend in the UK, Bonbon. They used to throw engines in, like a scrapyard engine, go to the dyno and like
just push it,
like 650 horsepower. They would be like, oh, what happens if we take the air filter off? And they'd just stick a sieve on the front and it would gain.
Okay, so I'm blaming you guys for writing all these engines off. That's the evolution of the car scene, right? Yeah. If it wasn't for those guys, we wouldn't know the limits of things.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I believe this car like kind of helped push, especially in the UK and Europe.
It's so cool that it's so cool that you keep it alive. Yeah. Like, it's so cool.
It's hard work.
I know. That's why I'm giving you so much props here.
Driving it and you know, they were at LZ and trying to put it against the wall, and you're like, if I write this off, it's a lot of history down the drain kind of thing. Do you have plans to potentially re-chassis, I guess, or if the money's right? Obviously, if the money's right,
Yeah.
I'd love to build a new car, but at the moment, I'm really enjoying looking after a piece of history, you know?
For sure.
And still, hopefully, doing it proud.
Yeah. Back on the road, we're running a day here, but it was super cool to stop into Martin's and check out what he's got going on. Martin has such an amazing legacy and he's such a talented guy. To go in there and see his stuff and how he makes it all work is really freaking cool. Especially that 32, that thing has a place in my heart. Hearing stories from a guy like that is just one of those things that you just never forget. So Martin, thank you for your time. But for now, as you guys know, I got this Defender, drove it back to the shop. We took it off-road the very next day and I haven't had a moment to look at it. And since I'm leaving tomorrow, I kind of need to go through this thing and put together a game plan because I'm shipping it back home. So let's get to the shop, check this thing out because it's quite the freaking hoopty, and put together a game plan of how we're gonna get this thing sorted before it comes to America and well after it comes to America. So let's get to it. All right, boys, we're back, and now it's time to go through this thing because we bought it, give a quick introduction, had to post a video, then we went off-roading, beat the crap out of it, and now we're here. So let's show you guys a little bit more about our Land Rover Defender. Not the Land Cruiser, the Range Rover, the Range Cruiser. I keep messing up. Why do they make so many damn freaking vehicles? Start off, this thing is interesting because it's kind of like the Beetle in the sense where they made like the same chassis for way too long. I'm pretty sure you can get like a 70s model and a 60s and like a 2015 we saw yesterday, and they almost look identical.
Same thing.
Which is part of the charm of it.
Yeah, I think so.
So if you guys are from the UK, you obviously know these things, but if you're not, that might be a little weird. It was a little weird to me, but the legacy of this vehicle in this country is massive.
Crazy.
Which makes it cool. I mean, it's a different thing to experience. It's cool to like embrace some different cultures and kind of see what they got going on, right?
I don't think there's much more of a iconic British English vehicle at all. They made a lightweight version just to throw out of planes. Do you know?
I love that.
During the war, so it had like.
So this was your military vehicle.
Oh yeah, this did the wars, the lot.
It's like the Willies.
Yeah.
So we're defending our freedom. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes, we are. Yeah, defending our freedom, not yours.
We're on the same side,
Yeah,
so it's good.
we are.
What I've learned about these things is they are probably the most taxed vehicle I've seen in a long time. Like, I would say this thing is more taxed than an S chassis, right, Andy?
Taxed to the max.
Taxed to the max.
These things were made to be simple and they were made to be cheap,
Yeah.
right? Like, you could tell they produced them like this to literally be cheap. I mean, any vehicle that was meant for war was kind of probably meant to be just be cheap. And it shows, but it's kind of crazy because they're very expensive. And they're expensive because people want them.
It's supposed to be simple, be able to fix them anywhere, and just like, so they came out the factory.
It's crazy. You're paying so much money for such like
That's
shit.
That's
But
not like
I want you guys to like this vehicle,
Yeah.
but like I gotta explain it because it took me a little while to get it right.
Yeah.
But as I drive it, I understand. We saw yesterday the physical capabilities of the vehicle, incredible in the woods.
Amazing.
I was blown away.
Good
Stock
vehicle.
as well. Stock. You just did everything.
Everything.
First time, just no problem.
So good, and the customability of them is amazing, right? Overlanding's huge now, and the accessories they make for these is unmatched. You could people put like rooftop apartments on top of these things,
Yep.
right? Honestly,
Yeah, they do, yeah.
people use these to run business out of between food trucks and just like tradies in general. And like this one, I got the wagon, so we have all the room for the boys. We could add any accessories we want. I mean, look at like from the cage windows to the safari rack, and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
So-
What makes it a little weird to me is the fact that a lot of it is aluminum. But a lot of it is also steel, and obviously a lot of people know when you put aluminum and steel next to each other for a long time, they do some weird things, which kind of suck, but we're not gonna talk about that. The aluminum oxidizes in weird ways. Like, I'm not used to this because I've never had an aluminum body car before, but you see this oxidation, it pops up almost everywhere, and it makes it look so much worse than it is.
Yeah, I think it's like water just getting behind the paint, isn't it? And then it's not rust or anything, it's just like a weird reaction.
It oxidizes so much more violently than steel. Like,
Yeah.
you'll get like a surface rust for a long time, and then it blows through. This is such a minor surface rust, but it looks like you could stick your finger through it.
Yeah, it's a good, honest truck.
Worse than others.
I know. So here's the thing I'm worried about. Is it one of these things that we rough square patch back home, because it doesn't have to be perfect, just seal it and go, or do I try and have you guys put doors on it before we ship it over?
But then it's color match and I don't know.
Or yeah, or and it'll be different colors, and trying to match it will be weird. But then we have to paint the whole thing, or do we kind of leave the charm how it is? That's what's gonna kill me, right?
Yeah. You're a perfectionist, aren't you? Like I just let it eat, but
you have to just let these things be what they are, right?
Good, you like things real nice, don't you?
Does this door? Yeah, look at that. What? Like, why there?
Same spot.
What is it? Is it hitting? What?
Not sealed very good.
No, it's not sealed very well. I mean, it's just that corner. It's a little surface rusty right there, but we have no rot, which is huge. Like, but it makes it look so much worse than it is. Like, seeing this orange, you're like, gotta have a giant turd.
God. No, it's fine. It's good. And this is a nice one. That's the mad thing.
This is
a nice one.
It is a nice one, right?
Yeah, this is like a nice
I think I got
one
a really good deal, but I paid so much money
I know.
for this thing.
That's the tough thing about it.
This is the first year of the TD5 drivetrain, so it's 99, and there's not a lot of them in the States yet because it just became legal. So this thing, when it comes to the States, will actually be kind of uncommon, which is really cool.
Surely it's gonna be one of the first.
I think it'd be one of the first TD5 cars. I think we'll get it back home. I want to import it with the rack, so I have the rack because this thing is too cool.
Yeah,
The rack is sick.
The rack is sick, especially for events, but I think it'll look really cool without it, so I'm excited to take this thing off.
Yep.
And then these windows are cool, but I don't think I need them. And since they're kind of rotting apart, since these are steel, I think if I take this off, the truck will look
cleaner as well.
And then of course we get some wheels on this thing. I can't tell if I love this or not. I can't tell if it's tacky or not.
You don't like the bar?
I think when we get back, we have to strip it of all the accessories and start fresh.
I think you might like that better if it was black.
Like trim black the grill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's cool because I have the later model hood, which has this big bump in it.
I like it.
You like it, right? Bach's trying to tell me to get rid of it.
Nah, don't listen to him.
I like that.
Right, this one has the bump. Usually they're just flat, but this bump looks kind of hard.
No, it's sick.
I reckon it looks sick.
It's a crude vehicle. It's hard to tell yourself that these are so expensive because they're made like it's a giant K truck. Like that's how I feel about it. It feels like a giant K truck. Like it's plastic dash. It's all held in by 2 screws. Like it's really crude, but I think that's the charm of it. Speedometer, gas, pulling temp, and a clock, an analog clock.
Sick.
And then you look at this thing, and the whole heating system in here is these 2 levers, right? We have hot, cold, and then this is like somewhat of your feet and then somewhat of your windshield. that's all you get, and that's it. I do love the cubbies and stuff. The funniest thing ever is the vent, right? Our fresh air vent. So if you look at this, bring this down, you see it moving. Now look at the outside.
Sick air conditioner.
It's like you could flash people like me out of headlights, you know what I mean?
Is that how defenders wave hi to each other here?
Yeah, exactly. We gotta clean this thing. All right, so TD5, we talked about this quickly. This is a 5-cylinder, 2.5 liter diesel engine, and it's kind of a dog. I was expecting to be a little more horsepower, but it is in stock form, and as we kind of all know, most turbo diesel vehicles have a lot of potential. What I'm excited about is we could do some diesel mods, right? I've never modified a turbo diesel vehicle before, so I think this will be a really good introduction. Like do a slightly bigger turbo, chip the ECU, and kind of get a feel for how this all works. I don't know anything about diesels. Like I say that, but compared to what I know about gas vehicles, I feel like I know nothing about these things. So what is the Mercedes engine, the 6060? Andy!
606.
M606.
OM 606.
The OM 606 I see is getting really popular for swaps, which is the Mercedes straight 6 turbo diesel.
Sick.
And I want to put it in something. Not this thing, but I need some type of I need to dip my toes in some turbo diesel stuff before I jump into that. Very simple to work on, easy to get around. I don't see this thing being a stressful vehicle at all. I mean, the whole purpose of this is for it to be easy to work on, which I feel like is a good introduction to diesels. For any of you Defender boys watching this video, because I know you're watching it, there's a lot out there. Leave in the comments what you think we should do, have the boys do here before we ship it over. What's nice about it being in the UK is once we get on a boat, it only takes like 10 days to get to us. It's sick.
Quick.
It's not like Japan where it needs to go all the way around. It's just the UK, straight to us, which is sick.
Real.
We'll get it back home. I think we take off all the accessories. Window guards, roof rack, the step side things, the front rack.
When you get home.
When I get home, clean it up, start with a fresh foundation, easy. And then maybe a lift kit, some wheels, some
An awning.
accessories. You really want that awning.
Can you imagine posting up at the track though and having some on-demand shade?
I can't wait to get these step sides off. The other ones are bent from hitting rocks yesterday.
I want to see this with the front street car on the back,
Yeah?
on a trailer, and then the spares on the roof.
That would go kind of crazy.
This towing, it just looks so good. I reckon on a nice roller.
You think it could tow?
Yeah, easy.
The tow capabilities is like I think it's like 8,000
8,000
pounds.
pounds.
Yeah,
Which is
3.5
wild
tons.
because it feels like it could barely move its own ass. But I don't think I think it's one of those things where it's just slow. I don't think it'd feel any slow with a trailer behind it.
It wouldn't make no odds, I reckon.
Really?
Yeah, well, we're about to tow all the way up to Scotland and that.
Yeah, that's true. Having another vehicle that we could tow with is huge.
Yeah. Well, that's what loads of people, 99% of people in England.
I know Austin's gonna try and take it.
Yeah.
To tow it. I know it.
Yeah.
Austin, I know it already.
Yeah.
Look at Josh's right here, right? So, oh, this is the hood. My hood's so much cooler.
Your hood is way cooler than that.
Built-in winch. That's sick.
You need that for your trailer and the truck.
But he has, is this a deck?
Yeah, he used to have a pop-top on there, and he has solar panels
And
on
then
it.
this top right here pops up into a tent. And on the other side,
Do you want me to pop it?
no, you don't gotta pop it.
Nah,
We
pop
have
it.
an awning that
Yeah.
comes off.
270.
That's so 270.
Yeah, it goes around the back.
So it goes out there and then round
I like this.
to here.
The Widow
Even if I
Wada.
can't go on the top, I like the whittle waddle.
Yeah,
the
whittle
the
wadder.
whittle waddle. It's just endless with these things, huh?
This
Box is a studio apartment.
Oh yeah, look at it.
Yeah,
And that comes down for a bed.
He's
And
got
then
a
that's the
fridge
bed
in
up
here.
there.
Top goes up.
And the bed's up there when the roof pops.
His interior is a little bit different too. He's got black door cards.
Black
Andy,
door cards.
you gotta find me black door cards. This is sick.
Yeah. RX-8 seats.
Yeah, which those are kind of tough.
So hilarious. So random.
Heated as well.
And then his dash is a little bit different because his is a 2006.
Yeah, something like that.
So like if you look, his like center is
Your dash is way better.
Yeah,
it's all
his
electric
is
and
weird.
stuff. I kind of like how analog mine is. It's just less stuff to break. So tomorrow morning I leave for Scotland because we are going up for a solid day of fun at Driftland, and I'm really excited because the boys are coming. Andy's coming with his Volvo, his turbo Volvo, which I know I could door up to the moon and probably not leave any dents because it's a Volvo and these things are tank. And then Bach has his E36 Compact, which actually looks like a really nice car. It'll be the boys. We'll have some more friends up there to drive with, and Jack Shanahan will be coming up to drive with us too, which will be really fun. So I'm excited to get to drive with Jack in like equal footing cars. We're gonna be in both just like stock BMWs.
Yeah, you're all in BMWs, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna be a blast. So I'm very excited for that, but it's been chaotic. We've been running around a lot trying to make this happen. My Defender, I'm hyped on it. The thing's super cool. It's gonna be really cool to see the thing in the States, but for now we're gonna leave it here with the boys to do some final touches for me. We'll get on a boat and it'll be over very quickly, so you guys will probably see this thing before you even realize it. For now, you guys have heard me ramble on a bunch. Sorry we didn't get into anything like super crazy fancy today, but it's a Sunday. We're all tired.
We're all tired.
We got a lot of things to do tonight to get ready for tomorrow, and for now, you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. We'll see you guys very shortly.
Good work.
Second